Are you ready to talk?
Oh yeah, I'm ready to talk.
Well, okay, let's talk.
Just settle down. We're gonna talk with you. That's going around.
Let's talk.
On the Brown Skin Chit Chat Show.
Let's talk.
Welcome to Brown Skin Chit Chat. Hello, ladies. Hello. We have Monique. We have Shalita. Yes. How are you ladies doing this evening?
We're great.
Doing good. Doing
Great.
good.
Great.
Both of your beautiful faces.
Yes.
Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and jump right into our topic today or this evening is fathers. We're celebrating our fathers. Father's Day is coming up, and we want to give homage to our men in our lives, our fathers. When I think about fathers, I personally didn't grow up with a father figure, but when I think about fathers, the closest thing that comes to me is the Huxtables.
Of what an idea, Father. Is that what?
Exactly. I would imagine having a
What an
father
ideal father.
like that
Yeah.
character. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What do you think about it? What do you think that, Cliff Huxtable could have taught you or
Basically, life lessons of using your own brain. I remember some of the episodes, he would talk to his children a lot, making them think about their choices and decisions. I just really admired his character's parenting style. So if I had a father in my life, I would imagine it would to be like the Huxtables.
That's
got
an
it?
example of a good father, especially on TV when you have one and didn't see one. My dad was kind of like that because he was fully present. He was in their lives. He would have conversations with us, even some of the tough ones. So my dad kind of emulates that too. So I was very lucky to have that. In my life and his sense of humor and his sternness and stuff like that. So that's what I appreciated about my father and growing up. So hi, miss you, Daddy. Rest in peace.
Yes. Yeah. I think that for me, my dad, it's just me and my sister, so it's a girl's dad. And when raising girls, and I think it takes on a whole different, um, you know, tone of things because his job, I was just saying this the other day, like his job was to be an example, but also to teach us to be independent. So my dad very much made sure that we, knew how to take care of ourselves. And, I know how to change a tire. I also know how to call AAA, but,
Right.
it was very important to us or to him to make sure that we could be self-sufficient and, learn how to stand on our own. So I think, having him be that, voice for us was really key. And I like probably maybe to a fault sometimes because when I was younger I was very independent. Like I don't need no man to do nothing to me.
Yeah.
I could do all this for myself. My daddy taught me how to do this. My daddy did this. But I think that what he showed me was invaluable. Like I use a lot of the stuff today, and I use it with both of my kids. I pass it on to him to them.
So
Yeah.
what is some of the things that at least one of the things that you ladies cherish that your dad instilled in you young?
That's a good
I just
question.
like that.
Yeah, that's a good question. He's instilled a lot of things for me. One of the things that I learned from him is I remember this one time I was struggling with work and they were like, you didn't do this or you didn't do that. And I went home and I was upset. I was like, they're trying to get on me. They're trying to do this and that. And my mom was like, yeah, you need to, my mom was a grievance person. File a grievance, fight, fight, fight. And my dad was like, okay, well, do they have any merit to what they're saying? Do they have any merit? And then if they do, think about what you did to make things differently so they won't have to think that again. And at that point, it changed my perspective going forward in life. It was like, okay, not everything is about somebody else's, fault or responsibility. And sometimes you have to look inner to figure out what you did wrong to kind of make the shift and change. Because that way, if the path that I'm going and they're saying I'm not doing something right, maybe I need to switch my path and take some accountability for what I'm doing. So at that point, I changed my perspective as far as just looking at both sides of the story, taking
Mm.
accountability and making a change myself and moving forward, versus, everybody else is wrong but me syndrome.
That's good. Good.
Yeah, that's insightful.
Right.
Because it is a different perspective, that he kind of forced you to look at like, okay, well, is there any merit to what they're saying?
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
'cause that's not
He,
always a easy pill to swallow,
No, not
like,
at all. Exactly. No,
like
so
I
they
rather
wrong, I'm right.
fight, fight, fight. Do whatever you need
Yeah.
to do. Go to
right.
HR. But everything wasn't a fight, fight. And sometimes you have to self reflect on what you're doing and is there any merit to what they're saying. And like you said, sometimes it's a hard pill, so it's not the easiest route to go.
So
Yeah.
in other words, your dad, he was like, let's apply logic to this right here, so making
He
you
was
think about.
applied logic and thoughtfulness to stuff. And even when my favorite saying from him was like, everybody has an opinion just like they have an asshole. So I tell my kids, especially in this day and age, everybody has an opinion
Yeah.
about something. And really, there's a lot of assholes out there. So you have to determine whether you're going to take the advice from loved ones and somebody who really cares about you and supports you, or the assholes who are out there just saying, whatever they need to do to kind of down you out. So I always carry that with me also.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that one piece of advice that we were literally just talking about this, me and my dad yesterday. Um, Pay yourself first.
Mm.
When you get paid, you pay yourself first. Whether
Good.
that's money in your 401k, you put it in the savings, you do, but pay yourself first. Then you take care of your other needs, and then the wants come. So he would, always tell me that, always, and enforce that with me. And then, also, my dad was like the fun dad a lot of times. He was like laughter, joke, what like throwing us around, when we went on vacation, he would throw us around in the pools and stuff. And, but it was, he always found a lesson in everything we did,
Wow. Wow.
so yeah, it was like trying to, what would you do? Like if we would be watching TV sometimes and it would be like a show or something, when I was like a kid, it would be a show and maybe something bad happened and he would go, what would you do in this situation? I don't know, but it made you think, it made you think like that was his way of making sure that we were prepared, that when we went out in the world, we did those. So I would say those two things. One, pay yourself, and then just making sure that you're prepared for anything, you know,
Wow.
thinking outside.
That's good. I like to pay yourself
The
advice
pay
for that.
yourself is a good one.
It really is, yeah. Because you don't think about it. You're so when you get paid, you're like, let me pay this bill, let me pay that bill, and you have nothing left for yourself. So that's
Yeah.
a good lesson to be taught, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like for us, it wasn't so much, like when I was younger, I was like, oh, I can go get my nails done, I can get my hair done or whatever. And yes, there's that, but that wasn't what he was trying to get across. Like that wasn't the message.
Right.
The message was really like, you need to save your money. That's paying yourself. You need to invest in your 401k. Like, do these things so then in the long run,
Mhm.
you'll be ready to be able to take care of yourself, your family, whatever you need to do.
Yeah,
You
your
know?
dad was really good about, saying invest in the stock market and showing you guys how to do that and saving. My dad and them were mostly save, have money in your pocket when you go somewhere. Don't go out with friends and not have any money in your pocket.
Mm.
But I think they were as savvy as your dad was when it came to stock market stuff, you know,
Yeah.
which is,
Yeah.
what most African American are plagued with now. They're mostly worker bees, save, and not investing in the stock market when other cultures were teaching about stock market and investing and stuff. So I wish I would have known more about stock market and saving as far as that's concerned.
Yeah. What about you, Case? Like, what is something that you wish that you would have had, you know, someone show you that you kind of maybe learned later on down the road? But is there something that you wish that, a father figure would have pulled you aside and said, hey, this is how you should handle this?
Oh yeah, of course, of course. But through my friends that, their fathers were involved, I got to see how they were treated by their fathers. And, majority of my friends, my good friends, their fathers adored them and they basically had their dads wrapped around their fingers, like literally wrapped around their fingers. They're like, I'm not going to ask my mom. I'm going to my dad, that thing. And I was like, you know,
Daddy
and
girl.
I noticed, like, especially my one friend, her and her dad had this bond, like, you know, dad told her what to do so mom wouldn't get mad, so they can just go on with their plan. They had that father-daughter bond. So, and
Yeah.
I always admired that, what I saw. What I wish, I don't know, because I didn't have a dad, the closest role model I could see is my grandfather, and he was very into making sure I stayed a young lady. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Like, make sure you dress appropriately, you speak, well, and speak up. He taught me those things, like, don't mumble,
mm,
speak up,
mm.
you know,
Yeah,
you're asked a
it's
question or
humble.
whatever, different things like that. And because I didn't have a dad, I didn't know how to react when,
Mm,
certain situations arose. And my grandfather would tell me, you always look a man in his eye and speak up. I have one more question for you ladies. What is one of your funniest memories with your dad?
mm.
Oh,
Oh, that's okay. Let's think about that. Um, oh my gosh.
I
Nick.
don't know if it's a funny memory, but it is my first memory with him.
Okay.
I was probably 5. I think I was about 5. And again, this is the 70s. So my dad worked shift work. I was on the bus. I was a latchkey kid, so I had a key around my neck. And I was on the bus. I got home from the bus, opened the door. My dad was there. He was actually, I take that back. I think he was waiting at the bus stop for me. And um, he's like, come on, go with me. Like, we're going to go and feed the ducks. So there was a park in Vallejo called Blue Rock Springs Park. And he took me over there and we fed the ducks. We went and got donuts. We got hot dogs. It was just me and him.
Mm.
And
Oh, don't choke up.
I just remember that day. I can remember just the love I felt on that day. I remember just so
Special.
much fun.
Yeah.
It was a very special day. So as I got older,
You're gonna make me
I
tear
was
up.
I don't um as I got older, um, I just I remember telling him that story and he was like, "You remember that?"
Wow.
I remember.
Yeah, at
And
5.
we did that.
See,
Yeah,
people
so
don't think mean as much, mean a lot,
Mhm. Those
it means
memories
a lot.
that you built with
It's
your
this memory.
dad.
Yeah, so it wasn't necessarily the funniest thing, but it was
It's special.
definitely
It was a
one
special
that was
time.
it's,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was special.
Oh, thank
Mine
you
wasn't
for that
fun
one.
necessarily. Mine was just, again, he always used to pinch my my cheeks, like, grab them like this or whatever. But I remember him. He was such a shit talker, right? Especially when we would play. So when we had parties, we always would play spades or bid whiz or whatever. So he was really good just about talking shit, like really just getting on people. And him and my uncle would just go at it, and so we just be having a ball and laughing or whatever. So he was just a good person to have fun. He enjoyed playing games and cards and laughing and casino. I would take him to casino. I remember one time him and my mom had me out there for 3 or 4 hours. I was asleep in the car. Uh, but good memories that I remember and will always share. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Yep.
Any parting words of encouragement, for those relationships with, your dad?
because I didn't grow up with a father. Those young women or women that are out there that their fathers are alive, be close with your dad. Be close with your dad. Because like myself, I didn't have the opportunity. I would have loved to grow up with a father. So if you have a father that is present, don't take him for granted. Cherish him.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I think that uh happy Father's Day to the fathers. I think strong men in my
Yes.
life, and I know the ones that are becoming new fathers continue to just be an advocate and a actual part of your children's life. Do things with your children, um, lead them, not leave them. And I think those are my parting words.
Yeah. That's great. All right, girls. Well, thank you. Thank you for our audience for watching.
Thank you,
Don't
guys.
forget to like and subscribe. We're
Please.
trying to be very intentional about, having these episodes out on a regular basis to you guys.
Yes.
Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.